So this is an attempt to draw one of the Betty monsters or characters from Magic the Noah. Uh, this isn't because they're bad or anything. I think his drawings are really fun and I really enjoy his videos. I just like to imagine what some of them might look like more detailed. So this is more of a personal test of sorts. So yeah, I'll have his channel in the description. I really recommend his videos. They're really fun to watch. He puts a lot of effort into them, and regardless of detail and whether it's a mouse drawing, tablet, or whatever, drawing so many assets takes so much effort, and it's really impressive to see. I just really liked this design when I saw it. It weirdly gave me like Francisco de Goya vibes, specifically the last 12 black paintings. So I tried doing a more painterly traditional style, which I started to hate very quickly. This is actually the point where I tried figuring out how to go about it, because when you're drawing traditionally, paint works differently than like brushes in art studios. I painted the fingers, they're red, but then I later realized that there should be bone colored, so I changed that later. Um, but especially the ribs, when I saw, because his belly, the tummy area is gray, white-ish, so I interpreted it as like bone, and then I thought was the way I thought about it was that it was like interlocking ribs, which I thought was cool until I started doing it, and then I hated it. You had to draw each individual. Whatever. There'll be a point where I start giving up on the details and just start doing very quick strokes. But I thought the ribs made sense in my brain because when there are those jutting out bones, I thought it made sense if it was like a rib cage that can open at parts, and those jutting out bones were like the ribs opening, if that makes sense. Uh, there was also a point where I quickly started worrying about YouTube's like censorship and whether it's like cool with body horror or not. I thought this wasn't too bad, that I could have gone worse. There are points where I was just like wanting it to make it more fleshy, like those parts where the ribs open. I considered doing more the good gutty, but I was just like, yeah, it could be a bit gross, so let me tone it down a little bit. This is when I tried out different brushes uh, to try and mimic, well, I believe oil technique or just painterly techniques, which I really struggled because none of the brushes, at least I had available, really worked it. So I ended up settling for something that looked okay, and then later on I just did more layers with different brushes, different colors, and changed the layer style to try and make it work. Uh, yeah, I that's the point where I started giving up, especially because the brush was so thick and it didn't have changing styles. So I just did quick brushes in between each bone. Because the thing with painting, when it comes to very small details, you typically don't do that. You tend to make the paint kind of blur it, and depending on what it is you're detailing, you either faded it into the background or you have a similar thing. Like in this case, there's a bunch of hand bits where the smaller ones are less detailed, but then the ones that are closer up, I try to put more detail in, so subconsciously your brain will recognize the closer bits and then put those details into the further off bits, even though they're technically not painted in. I will say, there was a point where I started getting extremely frustrating because it just works differently when painting, and there's always an ugly stage when trying to render a painterly piece. At this point, it started looking not too bad, but I was still like, am I putting too much detail to the bones? I tried at this point noticing that middle section was very detailed. I tried putting less detail on the lower bones to make it look the nicer to look at and not too attention drawing. Yeah, I don't think it turned out too bad. There's like, I'm already looking at it, be like, oh, I would have done this different, would have done that different, I would change the color scheme. At some point, I did wonder if maybe I should have been doing the background as I went, but I don't think the background really matters too much, and it's fine with how it ended before. Also, I did consider maybe giving it teeth, but like the original didn't, and I think the kind of gummy gaunt look works. I think the teeth would have been a bit too much. I don't know, I think it was fine. The one thing that really is bothering me now that I'm looking at it is that the surrounding rib skull bone thingies. I feel like I should have put more dark outlines around them because they don't look the same. Like, they blend into the skin behind a bit. But it's done and dusted. I can't. I'm not gonna go back and fix this. It is what it is. Yeah. So at this point, I started trying to put in even more layers because I wasn't happy with how I wanted it to look more painterly and have more brush strokes in it. So I tried putting in even more layers. I tried having even more yellowish tints because a lot of the Goya's paintings, at least the black paintings, are more yellowish in tone. I don't know if that's just because that's how they aged, or if that was how he went about doing it. Yeah, these last points is just me trying to finish up the piece, but yeah, I mean, I hope it turned out okay. I think it was